I just want to focus
I
on
don't
me.
know. This is oneness. This is the whole thing. We have to look at ourselves in the mirror at the same time.
Oh my goodness. Is my do I need to make it higher or
No,
lower?
I'd go a little bit lower because I got your name right there on your neck.
Okie dokie. Let's see.
No, you're good. Yeah, you're good. You're good.
I'm just trying to like set it up just
Let me see.
right.
Is this okay? It's taken 30 seconds just to hook up so far. So it's gonna be another minute and a half. I
So what's
mean,
that about?
I don't know. I started to see. So it was June, July, August, September, and probably about 10 days into October, we went off our regular schedule. I was in transit. We would do like 65 to 70 shows a month, plus whatever else we do. And then we had Soulogy Fest, and I'm moving around. I'm in Sedona, and you know how that goes.
Right,
And
right,
so we probably, I think one month we did 17. We were doing like maybe 25, sporadically. So
right.
about 3 weeks ago, turned it back on because I got settled. I'm here in the studio with Serena and Ty, been kind enough to let me use one of the rooms, and so we're back up to like 15 a week, and all of a sudden, like within about 7 or 8 shows, we just started getting suppressed. And we've gone through it before, but this is a little bit different.
Wait, what do you mean? Like suppressed?
I think in the algorithms, just push down on the algorithms. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we've dealt with it for years. It goes up and down, but now we'll do a show like this, and it'll take probably 20 minutes before we get the normal audience, maybe even
Right.
30. Yeah, the notifications not going in. It's on YouTube and Facebook, but I mean this stuff's been going on for years. Anyway, Wendy Rose is in the house. Where are you located?
I'm in Marin County in
In
Northern California, like
Okay,
so like north of San Francisco.
okay, yeah. We spent some time up in Junction City near Weaverville. Both of those are pretty small, but like an hour west of Redding, like
Okay.
going out to
Inland.
your
Right,
yeah going to like Eureka, like on that
right.
that road that goes to Eureka. Beautiful area though. So yeah, it's nice to meet you. Welcome to Soul
Yes.
Speaks 5D. Thank you for coming in and sharing space with us and honoring us with your presence. Uh, I tapped into your page just energetically, just looking for your picture, and
Right.
and I can. It feels to me like you've been in the game a long time. Uh,
Yes, Serini.
well, I mean, we've had people on here from the '60s, you know, very few '70s, '80s, many in the '90s. Um, and then, of course, a lot of people come on here and they say, I was awake when I was born. I had certain abilities and sensitivities. It got squashed. I was told I was crazy. I went into the matrix. I came out reawoke.
Right.
Did you have that type of experience, or were you always like
This
this?
way?
Yeah, this weird. Yeah.
Uh, well, it's an interesting question because when I think about it and I think back to being I feel like I was always different. I didn't know I was psychic, so I was, but, and I'd read people, but I didn't know I was reading people. So through being a teenager, you're not like following what everyone's doing. So I'd observe and go, I can't relate to any of them, but I didn't know why until I got into the whole spiritual scene and hippie scene that I went, oh, I have my tribe. So, but I got into astrology when I was 17. So that, and nobody else I knew was into it.
At 17 years old, you get into astrology.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And then that led to consciousness stuff. So about 18 and 19 was like when you talk about awakenings, I was realizing so much at 19 and started meditating, and I mean it was just crazy because it was like you're tripping out on all these other levels and other people are like, huh? um so yeah, it started around 18, 19, I would say.
Wow. And just so you know, somebody just let me know that the title didn't show up, but I'll go in. I'll go after the show. I'll go change the title on all the platforms.
Oh,
Just
okay.
so you'll know that, and I'll tag you. I think I could
Oh,
tag you.
thank you.
I tried to tag you on the announcement, but anyway, I'll figure it out. And
No, I did get the announcement.
oh, you did. Okay, so when I tag you, it'll show up on your page, but I have to go in and change the title. Um,
Right.
it's strange because when I was 19, I believe, either 18 or 19, uh, a friend of mine, we went over to see this girl, right? And I think she was like house sitting, and she was our age, and her name was Wendy. I just remember this,
Yay!
and it was the first time anybody ever introduced anything to me, and it would be the last time for a long, long time. But it was like she lit a candle, sitting Indian style, and she wanted to do meditation. We thought we were
Hmm.
going. We thought we were going to go over and party, you know. But it was interesting because I had never done that consciously. I guess like you said, we do these things and they're natural. Um, but anyway, yeah, and I remember like having I guess would have been like my first conscious intent visualization. But she was the only person I knew in my age group, in my social circles for at least 5 or 6 years
Yeah.
till I was like 23 or 24. So you're at 18, 19. Did did you have like were you social?
Yes.
Um,
I
yeah,
was always social
yeah, yeah.
and I fit in with all kinds of people, but I didn't know what I was picking up. And then when I started studying astrology, I started observing people,
Mm-hmm.
and like I would start going, "Oh, you're a Taurus with Moon and Sag," and they go, "Well, how do you know that?" And I was like, "Huh." And like it's been a great platform to ground intuition. And I would say that's, then blending in all the other levels through the years,
Mm-hmm.
whether you're getting trained psychically, like I was trained psychically, tarot, transformational technologies, astrology. It's like it's a soup mix plus getting a psychology degree. So you
Mm-hmm.
just kind of like mix all these things together. And then out of that, it's all been about transformation and empowerment.
Right,
That's all I've been doing with people for decades.
right.
You know
And
what I mean?
yeah, and it sounds like that. Oh God, I had it. I had it. Hang on.
Pick
Uh,
it up.
like I was gonna ask you, did you ever get lost? Like a lot of us, at some point, you get married, you have kids, you're on the career path, and this becomes a smaller and smaller part. I mean, it's still there, but it sounds like that you might have incorporated, like just step by step. You could say 3D, 5D growth or whatever side by side.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What for me, it's always been my path.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like always it was kind of like I didn't realize when I got into astrology that it was my calling. You know what I mean? I thought it was my hobby and I have to get a real job to make a living. I went to graduate school and you have all these other jobs and stuff like that. But what's interesting is as I move forward, like through my 20s, I was always seeing clients, but I was in other work. But when I did, I had a vision that I needed to open up a metaphysical center and bookstore, and it kept coming at me for like years. And then I met my husband at the time, and he said, "You have to do your dream." And I'm like, "Oh, I just do my dream." And it was kind of like to shift into abundance in a level that, yes, you can. And he was also an astrologer. So, no, I can tell you a million magic
That's
stories.
awesome. That's awesome.
So we collaborated,
Mm-hmm.
and I had no money in the bank when I signed a lease for a store. It's all crazy now. And yet, at the same time, within 2 months, we opened the store, and then all these magical things happened to support it, which is what happens. And that's when I learned about manifestation,
Mm-hmm.
that oh God, it's really hard to say. It's like, here's an example, because I just want to give a full circle. Like when, remember I said I was 19, I was getting into astrology and consciousness. I had my first reading for me, astrology reading, in Santa Barbara. So when we decided to open the store, for some reason, I said, let's go down to Santa Barbara and just check out the vibe of all the stores. So we go into the store that I had my first reading. They were closing. Guess who got all the bookshelves and all the things for the store? And I went, this can't be
They
right.
were closing. I think you meant they were closing for the day. They were closing for good. Yeah, that's
And
how.
they,
Yeah,
and it was like they're passing the baton. And so I was like, well, this is really cool. So that's how, and then they said, here's where you get the books, here's where you get the music, here's where you get this. And then it was just after that, it just
wow.
kept,
What
yeah.
year was that?
1988.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow. On the front edge of the wave there. But that would have been right after the harmonic convergence. Lot of powerful stuff, you know, going through the field until it was, you know, being kind of diluted,
It
over
was,
time.
yeah, it was, and it was on crystals. Remember, everyone was really getting into
Yeah,
crystals then.
yeah,
And that was like the crystal wave.
yeah. So I want to ask you about astrology because my brother over here, my collaborator Ty, he's like you, like he's been on that part of it, many other things,
Hmm.
for I don't know 30 plus years, you know, since he was 17, 16, whatever. So I pick up on things. I mean, I don't really go into depth with it. I understand it. I talk to the stars a lot, and I look at them.
They,
I look at them often, and I say, I know you're an overlay. Now it may just be an overlay for the simulation that we operate off of, but I'm all about personal sovereignty, personal power. We're equal to any and all things. We're made in
mhm.
the image. There is no, you know, the only thing bigger is the collective us, which is in us and outside of us, I guess.
Hmm.
But I always wonder about that because for different reasons. Like I can see it as like, you know, we were souls, we are souls. We
Hmm.
plan this experience both individually and collectively. We set a template forth. And I could see that being the, you know, the formations and movements and rhythms of the celestial bodies.
Hmm.
And anyone and everyone, whether they're conscious or not, has tapped into the stars. The stars speak, and we can
Hmm.
speak back, and you know this. But yeah, I just like because I think to myself, where does it begin? Because there's something to me that feels beyond the stars, that doesn't predetermine everything, or it's in us, or however you want to put it. But I don't know. What's your take on that? Who invented astrology? Is it the only pure science? You know, what are your thoughts on it? I'm just curious. There's no right or wrong answer.
No, I know, I know. It's like for me, it's like, I mean, I can say I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like we can go back in time before Egyptians, before, I mean, that's when they talk about this stuff coming, you know, so many thousands of years ago. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't know. I'm a kind of a here and now person.
Yeah.
That's kind of, I mean, I don't think astrology is the only way. And I think that we're affected on multiple levels at the same time by everything. And right now, we're experiencing so much that is almost, that I would say is beyond the planets for sure.
Right.
You know, with all the attention and
Whatever it is, it's big, right?
it's
But
huge.
yeah, that's a good point because I can see what you're saying. You know, I can feel the vibe, like the astrology, the stars, the sky, the cosmos is part of something. It's got its own singularity
Right.
and influence, and say even a major piece. But there's these other things that you're referring to, which is like uh, other dimensional, otherworldly, off planet, off universe, even like time, space, you know, interdimensional travel, inner space within ourselves. I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
There's, I mean, the thing is, it's like if, like you're talking about template. So if you look at the chart as a template, like it's your map. Like we all have our own personal map, and I do have your chart here, just so you know.
Oh
But
yeah,
it's a
you were the one. I got
yeah,
so many messages going, and
yeah,
okay,
that was
cool.
me. Because I
Cool.
thought if we need to reference, I have it. So it's like we all have our templates, and then where the planets are moving right now will activate certain areas in you.
Okay,
Okay. So you're going through a period. Maybe it's for 3 years, maybe 3 months, maybe a day, right? Even though there's multiple other things happening on the astral,
right.
it's kind of like we have to integrate. God, I don't want to complicate this, but integrate it all. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to get the thought here, but it's moving. Things
It's
move
moving.
really fast.
Well, you
I'm
get
telling you.
to if you
But
want to take us through it and explain it in a way like that. Is that what you were thinking of doing?
like
Like
I could.
I mean
I'm
like
open.
yeah, because I mean okay, I've never done this before, but
Okay. I'm okay.
no, what
Let's
I
just
mean
dive
is
in.
yeah, what I mean is like okay, I've never sat with an astrologer and had a Q&A. Like I have questions. I mean, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think everybody can kind of feel things
Right.
a good reading of, and I've had several. There's some things that just make sense, and they, you know what I mean. Almost like
And
the
then there's things that. So tell me when you've done it, what has felt kind of wrong or you can't relate or
uh,
didn't make
I
sense.
I would say like maybe in the last 5 years I've probably had like 5 or 6 people, and some might have been 3 minutes and some might have been 12. Right.
Right.
I can't really say anything was wrong. Um, Questions wouldn't be like, "Oh, does this mean this is going to happen?" No, not like that. My questions are more like weird questions. You
Oh,
know what I
good. I
mean?
love weird
Yeah.
questions.
So no, because it's more about the science of it, the spirit. I would say the spirit science of it, because to me, everything is the God goddess particle. I don't believe in AI. I don't
Hmm.
believe. It's all the same thing. In my understanding now, especially recently, is that we're never going to divorce ourselves from anything.
Hmm.
We're being given an opportunity in the most physical density to learn the code of the universe and creation, which is to work with what's presented to you. You know, and that's what we're working out. That's like the new code. That's the way I see it. So I look at it the same way. Like this is ancient. I mean, it's basically an energy complex. It's basically like visiting the consciousness of, say, a plant medicine. So there's a consciousness there that many, many people have contributed to, and so I have the highest respect for it. Yeah, I like to have a conversation with astrology.
Yeah, totally, totally. So when you're saying that, like I'm just trying to get the like framework of it,
Yeah,
because my whole feeling is about grounding things,
right,
and that's kind of why I really have loved astrology because it's grounded, it's a science, there's a framework, but there's also massive intuition. Of course, as we know, in the last 5 years, especially, the information coming in, like you're getting to the downloads, is immense.
right.
And like, so the way I even do a session has changed radically in the last several years. I'll put the chart down and I'll just start going, like, I have to fly, you
Right,
know,
right.
you have to let the information just fly in if it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
So, so back to you with your chart.
yeah.
So I want to get a sense from you because it's like there's some parts of it you didn't resonate with, is what I gather.
No, no, I don't. I think there was one time. This was before I
Yeah,
reawoke many years ago when I was in the corporate
yeah.
world. My aunt got me a reading from this lady, and she came over. And I don't know. My mindset, to me, it was more like, wow, well, let me, that sounds like. But there was this part about guns, and she kept saying, "You like guns?" I'm like, "No, I don't like guns." But I don't have any standout like that. No, just kind of go through it, because my questions would be, somebody put up something about, there's what, ascended, uh, moon. Yeah, I mean, whatever. Like my
Okay.
questions are some are like that, because like when Ty's talking about it, he'll say, "Dude, man, you're at 28 degrees," and, and I'm like, And I'm getting the energy of it, and I'll ask them a few questions here and there, but we're usually running around like a chicken with our head cut off doing stuff. But yeah, no, just
Okay,
no,
I
nothing.
got it.
Yeah, just do a regular reading, and I'll just chime in with a question or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, so what I'm getting is like, so here I'm going to show you your chart. Just, I know, can you see it? Just, I'm
Yes.
just showing it to you so you have a visual. But
Yeah. Yeah.
not that that means anything, but anyways.
Mm.
Um, I'll give you because what I want to incorporate is what's going on now and what
Yes.
people might be experiencing,
Yes.
and also how it's affecting you personally. Because
Okay.
I want you to get a personal feeling
Okay.
for yourself so it feels authentic and real.
No, I like this. This is great. This is like the Trinity energy. So yeah, it's really for the overall, and
Yeah,
as we all understand that there's a relationship between the individual and the collective. Yeah, this is cool.
right. So we have aspects that are like massive. Okay, they can be affecting people for like 3 years. But if you're not, it's like the climate, the collective.
Right.
But if you're having it connect in with your chart personally, then it's super duper strong. Okay.
Okay.
So I want to talk about this first aspect that's going on for everyone right now because it's exact. And I thought this would be like really good. And an aspect means here's a planet in the sky, Uranus is in the sky, and it is in Taurus. Okay. Saturn's in the sky and it's in Aquarius. They're in a square that's 90 degrees. Okay, so just to give you, when I say aspect, it's what is the aspect? It's 90 degrees, 120. How are they relating? What's the issue? So a square, it can be a block, it could be an energizer, it can be an encourager, or it could be frustrating. So if this is going on in the collective, what's the issue? So Uranus is about change. It's about newness. It's a catalyst. It's breakthrough, new frontiers, breaking out of comfort zones, and it's in Taurus. What does Taurus want? Security, comfort. Where's my money coming from? This is my house, this is my chair. But Uranus is about new ways of making money, new ways of experiencing art and creativity and being, in fact, a lot of Tauruses I know have been forced to move, have been like really unstable, and they hate it. So that's the Uranian energy. Now Saturn's in Aquarius. Okay. Aquarius is about freedom, but Saturn is like the master. It's saying this is what you should do. So it's familiar, it's security, it's old
Programming.
world, new world. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I can see that part of it. It's programming. It's the
Yeah.
master telling us what we need to do and how it's going to take care of us, and we're like going, "Hey, man, no, no more." So each one. Now these are two different what?
Planets.
Yeah, yeah, two different of all of them. So they're all generating some type of energetic influence.
Absolutely.
Okay, at the same time.
At the same time. So these two, let's just say if they're in conversation, but how it's affecting is it could be resistance. So what people are getting activated. I'm going to just simplify it like way down. Like let's bring it down. How would it be affecting? And then we'll look at you.
Hmm.
Is like Uranus wants to break through and get out of familiar structures, familiar belief systems, like whatever it is that you're stuck in. Like me being on your show is me breaking through.
Okay, excellent.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of like, okay, get out of your own way. But Saturn is about like, it could be fear. Just think of fear, Saturn. Uranus is about freedom, freedom from fear. So it's good to be uncomfortable. So Uranus square Saturn is where have you been limited? Jobs, houses, environments, belief systems, relationships. What's holding you back that is not in alignment with where you need to go that may be really uncomfortable but freeing?
So in your case, you evidently you stepped into freedom, right? Like that, like this part of the because this is general, right? This is
Yes.
okay. And so you tapped into the freedom thing. So was this a big deal for you to come on? Have you
Yes,
been? It was. Well,
yes.
thank you for coming on. Yes,
Well,
thank
thank
you.
you for inviting
Yeah,
because when I heard it, it was like, okay, stop hiding, Wendy. Now, I've been doing this work for 40 some odd years.
that's right.
And I've been visible in front of groups and all that stuff, but actually not on video because I get really critical. So that's why I want to just look at you. So that's why
She
it's
said
like,
she wanted to turn her camera off for her. I don't know. There might be a way to
yeah,
do
but I
it.
mean, that's my thing. Okay. So I have Uranus going through my career house because I know I have to expand and step out of my old ways and break through into completely new territories and have opportunities come to me. And I'm
so
like, okay.
so
And
we
I
have
know,
12 houses, right?
yes.
So we have 12 houses. We're born in a certain place. There's different things. There's nodes. I know there's no, at least two. And then there's
Yeah.
like there's the rising and the moon and whatever else there is. Okay, all at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
And then each planet stays in a sign for so many years. So, like Uranus stays in a sign for 7, Saturn stays in it for 3.
Man, this is very complicated.
Yeah, I'm not trying to
It's
complicate. Okay.
no. I'm just saying. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to understand that layman's. I mean, this is some. This is like a. I don't know. To me, it's like a combination. I still feel like it must. It's something we orchestrated. I think it might be limited to this realm, but this realm is a lot bigger than we actually think. But there's like a geometry to it, right?
Yes.
There's sound, really like resonance or vibration or something. You know,
Hmm.
like they make noise. I mean, they have a frequency, and then there's color, and I guess math to a degree. So it's pretty fascinating.
And intuition.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the part I never heard before.
oh my God.
And when you were telling your story, how to me it sounded like as you discovered it, you kind of gave greater recognition to your intuition, and you realized that it was like a validation. It was like you saying, okay, these things that you've been feeling or whatever sensing, it was validated.
I would say yes. And I would say that through the study of astrology, I learned more about my intuition.
Okay. Oh, you
It
learned
opened up
more.
more.
You learned more about your intuition.
Yes.
So okay, so I think okay. So like, let's say you started 3 or 4 years into it, and as you became familiar with the makeup, let's just say, of the cosmos, right? Um, you were able to sense who was what, or you know what I mean? Like, I'm a Sagittarius. Like, oh, he's a Sagittarius, or he's got a something moon rising or something.
Okay.
Was that
Okay.
how?
So,
Was that
what
how?
kind of like it was like when you're studying something, whether whatever modality you're studying, like for me, it was like you're studying a lot. Like with astrology, you're reading lots of books and you're memorizing, and then you apply it when you go out and about. And then I watch people go, oh, they walk like a Sag. Oh, their face is like an Aries. And you start putting what you're learning in a book to a human.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a lot of practical. I would say the practical and the memorization led to the intuition.
Okay. Yeah.
I know it sounds, but that's just how it was for me. And some people have it with tarot, some people have it with other things.
Right.
So, like with astrology, so let's look at you and see. We can look about the Uranus Saturn to see.
What the hell's going on right now?
Why? Well,
I'm
that one
kidding.
is for you or for the world.
Both.
Okay. Okay. So here, let me look and see like the Uranus Saturn that I was just talking about. Okay. This is my first hit. So I go with hits because I want to like take a quick look and then I want to like get away from it. So there's something about you. This is the feeling I have about you. Now tell me if this resonates.
Okay.
It's like you clearing karma. It's like this is oh my God. It's like, and this is about the nodes. You have South Node in Aquarius in the fifth house. Saturn's sitting right on top of it, Uranus is squaring it, and it's all about releasing baggage and releasing old ways you did relationships. And um, hmm, it's like it's forcing you to go into new territory. And I don't know if that's resonating at all, but that's how I'm seeing it.
Well, being in between those two, was it Uranus and Saturn? That didn't
Yeah.
sound too pleasing. That's not like being, anyway, I'm kidding. But, well, yeah, I think overall, like, if I look at what's going on right now with what I can see in the field, this definitely describes it. And for me, it does. Uh, so there was, like, in the last 2-3 months, a whole bunch of karmic loops that were
Yep.
completing. It was like a clock, right? It was like that, and it was all these loops within the cycle, were all like going. You know what I mean? They were all completing, and then yeah, I think that other thing too. I think for myself and a lot of people, yeah, everything
Hmm.
new. It's all new energy. It's all like without the dualistic frequencies. I mean, this is kind of like what seems to be happening. So that
Well,
kind of that kind of equates to me to yeah, new types of relationships or new relationship. What am I trying to say? Pillars of the relationship, virtues of the relationship. Yeah, something like that.
well, you know what it is? Here's a perfect example. The south node is the past, what you have done. The
Okay.
north node is where you're supposed to be going, your dharma, your purpose.
Okay.
So you're clearing out just old stuff of like south node is yes, but it's our security. We
Okay.
hold on to things, and so for you, it's about you. Just it's just a major in the next month. It's like a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
clearing out, but then it's like for you getting into your north node, which is what you've done. Your north node in Leo has been you've been collaborating, creating these big groups
Mm-hmm.
that you've been doing your north node in Leo. So,
Yeah. Well, that's
but
that's what it feels like to me. It feels like October. Well, I mean, God, since I don't even know. Forget it. But to me, it feels like this month is like baby steps. Like you know, taking each step not gingerly, but carefully, and then it feels like it not like a spike, but just a very gradual, deliberate ascending line beginning
right,
in December. That's how I feel. I mean, from my
right.
gut.
Well, on an energetic level, it has felt kind of like we're being birthed, right? And it's kind of
Yes.
like, and it's like we have to do it one step at a time. But I can bring in another astrological kind of s- form here is because Mars is just went retrograde the other day till January 12th. So we're all in this. Mars is how you go out in the world and get what you want. So think of it as drive, energy, and it's in Gemini, which is all like communication, connect, people. Okay. But it goes backwards, like Mercury retrograde. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, wow. Like the steam to go forward isn't quite there.
Mm,
So it's saying, don't overcompensate, don't overcommit, don't scatter energies, don't get too social, right? But it's also about low vitality. So people might notice that they're more tired in the next 2.5 months. They need more rest, they need
mm,
more sleep. You need to, self care is huge.
yeah.
So Mars and Gemini says, watch how you watch your old habits of socializing and work and with people because you're going to notice you're going to get irritated more,
Right.
people are going to get frustrated more. So it's kind of like decide where you put your energies and where you don't during this retrograde and simplify it.
Yeah. Yeah. That feels right. I mean, and even like this is kind of cool because it's actually a collective kind of thing, right? But like the management of our energy, it's like exerting, exerting ourselves. That's like so important
Hmm.
because it says so much because because that's a very present kind of thing, and you know what I mean? Because like if that part becomes depleted, then everything from it becomes depleted. The way we
Yeah,
communicate, the way,
totally.
you know what I mean? So, but yeah, that's what it feels like to me. Like so many people are choosing themselves, which
Yes.
sounds one way, but to choose yourself in a moment's notice at any time because of the impact and ever increasing in frequency and volume of this what would you call it, new earth energy or universal energy or whatever, you know yeah, I think it's so important that we be careful.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like we've had this. Don't you feel that we've had this through the whole pandemic, that people got very focused on taking care of themselves and pulling inward? And I don't think we're totally done with the inward thing. And we try to go back to doing all the things you did, and the universe is like, no, not time.
I, yeah, I agree with that. I think that at some higher level we created the whole COVID thing and all the things that came from it as like as the igniter, the impetus to finally go inside. Because yeah, I do think people started to think about their health and their mortality, but I think at a say maybe a more unconscious level, just due to the circumstances. The kids can't go to school, you can't go to work anymore, you got to work
Right.
virtually. You're all with these people that you live with but you never talk to, and now you're having to get to know yourself. And I'm sure there was a lot of, you know what I mean. I think that in itself, the self introspection, probably by itself brings a certain level of alignment
Hmm.
and healing, especially when so many more people are doing it every day. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're just have to keep following the current. And the more intuitive that you are, you get the sense of what you're supposed to do, even if it doesn't make sense externally. But
Mm-hmm.
it's be mindful of your energy output,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, do you want me to go into your chart now?
Yeah. Sure. I'm sorry. I won't interrupt you anymore.
No, no,
Let's figure
no.
it
I love it.
out. Okay.
No, I was like debating. Like I'm going to give you a little like outline because you said somebody asked about what the rising was and the moon.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So this is kind of where my questions are, because is okay, and maybe
Yeah.
other people have it too. So like when you say you're going to kind of go over it, you're going to say, okay, this is your moon
Yes.
star. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. To give us an
Okay.
overview, so we could maybe have like like a cheat sheet version.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds fun. Now, I just lost my thought. Shoo, come back. Um, hold on. Oh well, it'll come
3D
back.
memory. 3D memory. It's leaving
Wow.
us all. It's leaving
It
us
just
all.
come back and play. Let's go. Shh. It's okay. It will. All right. So it's based on where you are when you're born, location.
Mm-hmm.
So a chart is drawn up the minute you're born, wherever you are at the time you are.
Right.
And that's how you get the rising sign. The
Okay.
rising, like, if we have a clock, every 2 hours it changes rising signs. I mean, that's why I can estimate it real quick with people because I know how fast it moves.
Okay. Okay. So the actual uh, primary thing, like Sagittarius,
Yeah,
is based on, obviously based on that period, that 30-day period. Okay.
right.
And then the rising sign is based on the time and the place. Is that
And
right?
the place.
Okay. I got you.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the rising sign is your persona. So it's what you put out to the world. It's like your personality, how you see the world is through your rising sign.
Mm-hmm.
So I always use the party as the example. Like, and I'll get to your Sag in a second. But the Sag, well, I have to kind of go there. The Sag is your sun sign, and that's your basic characteristics inside.
Mm-hmm.
And your rising is Virgo.
Mm-hmm.
So you're a Virgo rising. That's how you present, is Virgo with Sag behind it.
Mm.
Okay. So you walk in a party, even though you have a lot of Sag, you may be walking in kind of like, because Virgo is the analyzer.
Mm.
You're always trying to figure out why and how to make things better. And being of service is like your main operation. Your main goal in life is to serve.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's when you're being the highest side of Virgo, is to get out of the way with perfectionism and doing right and wrong, because that's one side of it. It's got to be the best or not at all. It's got to be, it's never good enough. So that's the downfall of Virgo, is it's never good enough. And the high side of Virgo is being of service.
Mm.
Okay? So it keeps you humble.
Mm.
That's what I'm getting. It's like there's a humbleness. Now, behind that is your Sagittarius. Now, there's 12 types of Sagittarians, which you
Really?
won't read in a book. Yes. And based on there's 12 houses in the chart, wherever your Sag falls is how you're expressing your Sagittarius. So you're a Sag that lives in the third house, which is the Gemini world. So Gemini and Sag both have something in common. It's all about spreading information. So you have to communicate. It's important for you to communicate your truth. It's important that you're being blunt. You want to inspire, you want to expand, and it's like there's a restlessness.
Mm.
Because when you're in the third house, it's like you have to hop around.
Mm.
I'm going here, I'm going there. It's hard to sit still.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's the juggler. So you've
Yes.
got this, okay, you're a
Mm-hmm.
juggler,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
juggling things, juggling
Mm-hmm.
ideas, but you can handle a lot because you're a mutable personality,
Mm.
which is all your Sag. Mutable means adaptable.
Adaptable.
Yeah. You
That's
can adapt.
crazy. That's crazy. I got a download like 2 days ago, 2 nights ago when I left the studio, and that was the key word. But it was showing me us, like right now, like all of
Yeah.
us, and what was happening. And it was that whole thing about it was I guess like a definition of adaptable that wasn't 3D and it wasn't disempowering.
Hmm.
It was that thing that I said earlier that I'd been getting this past week, which was work with what you have. And it doesn't mean you work with it in literal senses. It could be that something happened on the surface and you have to kind of move over here, but the energy still remains in your field. And that's the word they used, or that's the closest one I can think of, but it was a different form of it. Yeah, go ahead. Thank you.
But because you're so mutable in your chart, it's a given for you.
Mm.
It's kind of like it's easy for you, where someone else will be like, how does he do that? Because they're not that way. They're really
Oh,
fixed.
that's
And
good.
it's
That's
like,
good to know. That makes sense because I, I you know, I just learned something
yeah, no,
because I
but you're
get
a natural.
no,
You're a
no.
natural at
Well,
this.
yeah, but as far as my sensitivity, and I don't mean in a hard ass way. I just mean that I've never thought about that. Like I would expect. I'm not gonna say I would expect people to get that, but I think I probably until you get the awareness and you figure it out,
Right.
right? So I have the awareness now that maybe I can have some compassion. Do you know what I mean?
Well, and also, just so you know, you don't have much water in your chart. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's like you're heavy earth and heavy fire.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
like you're a manifester. Like you like to
Mm.
manifest things, you like to do. You need to be physically doing, but it's not really emotional. That's not your orientation,
Mm-hmm.
anyways.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so Sag is you're always trying to learn from experiences, and you're really good with people. I mean, you're a Sun in Sag, Mars in Sag, Mercury in Sag, and Venus in Sag. You've got four planets in Sag, all in the third house. So it's like you love learning and love learning about people, and you love the stories, and you also have a writer in you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Like you have
so
this,
that's from the natal chart.
yes,
Those five planets are
yes,
in Sagittarius, and I'm Sagittarius, right? I mean,
right.
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
you have
wild.
so much energy about communication, and that's why you do what you do.
Mm.
But you also, there's more. I mean, I'm getting other stuff, but it's like you you have stories to tell of your own.
Mm.
you have a book in you that wants to come out. You get so much psychic energy that comes in and like a sideways and electrically, um, and it's trippy. I would say
Hmm.
trippy is the word. I would say. Anyways, so
I'm just thinking of things people have said to me. That's all right. Yeah, very cool.
like you go through changes and they happen suddenly.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like, it's almost like the feeling is, you don't have to study something in a systematic way because you get it.
Yes, that's
Okay?
that's been true my whole life,
Yeah.
um, and it freaks people out. It
Well,
used to back in the business world, but I mean, yeah, it's like it takes me a while, like
mhm,
I might even look dumb, and then it clicks, and then I'm good.
right.
And it's
But
like,
it's
yeah,
like you learn through osmosis.
yeah, exactly.
That's your mode
Mm,
of learning,
mm,
but it's also you have this high intelligence
mm.
that you get a bolt. So it's kind of like you would have probably not been somebody that liked doing tests.
No, no, I didn't like tests.
Yeah. You
And
could do them though,
oh yeah, yeah,
but
but
you didn't
I
like
didn't
it.
like it. I don't like those kind of chores. And how about like when people talk about and Phil, you can feel free to use me or just however you want to explain it.
Yeah.
But I think one of the let's just say one of the gripes, I don't have it, that people might have with astrology is it's always talking about the fluffy stuff, the good stuff. But it does say, okay, the other side of that is this. Is there any look? So this is sun rising. I know there's other things there. Or is there one that's like the dark side?
Okay. So I mean, people look at Pluto that way.
Okay,
People get afraid of Pluto because Pluto rules Scorpio, and it could be the underworld, it could be taboo, it is transformation, but it is looking at the darker aspects of life and yourself. But it's about truth. So I'm not afraid of Pluto because I'm a Pluto person. So
mm-hmm.
the way I work with astrology is bottom lining.
Right,
So it's like bottom line, authentic, what's going on, not it's what is, right? So it's not to be afraid of Pluto because Pluto's about your power and it's empowering, but it's looking at all aspects of yourself, not being in denial.
right,
You know, if you go, oh, I'm intense, okay, you're intense. Or you're this, okay, you're that. But we have multiple things in us. It's like, how are they communicating together?
right. Yeah, they're all headed to the same place and working for the same source.
Right.
It's just a different because I love the darkness. I mean, not the journey of learning the wisdom that it offers. But no, I'm kidding. It's all great now. But yeah, I mean, it's like the Kali energy. Kali's
Yeah, it
not
is.
a demon. Kali is a dark, probably the deepest love there is. I mean, and it's there to clean you out or give you
Well,
illumination, give you knowledge.
it's like Pluto. When people have a Pluto transit, meaning Pluto's in the sky and it's aspecting your chart, it can last 3 years. So it's a 3-year passage you're in, which means you can go through hell, but you don't have to if you're doing your work. If you,
Uh, but wait a minute. What's the 3-year thing?
okay,
Is there a 3-year
Pluto.
thing that I need to know about?
Okay,
Is that in
so
my chart like right now? Is there a 3-year Pluto
it
thing?
is.
Right now?
It is.
For how
Yeah.
long? 3 years.
Uh, I'll get into that, but
Holy
it's like
Mary, Mother of God.
no, Pluto is the thing is, if you don't resist a Pluto transit and you embrace it,
Yeah, yeah.
what's going to come out of it and you do it consciously, it's for an example, like, and this is you actually, so it's kind of funny. I was going to use this example is Pluto goes through the fourth house in the chart, say.
Mm-hmm.
The fourth house has to do with home, family, real estate, blah, blah, blah. So a lot of people go, "Oh, I hated Pluto going through my fourth house. I had flooding in the house and I had to move and Or it could be like, I want to buy a house. I want to have a family. I'm going to do that. Pluto is I must do. Here's an example. If you're in Pluto, there's a compelling energy to be pulled somewhere and you don't know why. If
Mm.
you follow the thread, it's a good thing.
Oh my
Because
God.
okay, I know I got the chills when you said that.
Well, I got like a Kundalini thing going on.
Right now.
Well, that's how this the field is working now. It's less the emphasis on energetically sensitivity, senses wise, on the verbalization, right?
Yes.
It's more on the energy. You snap, you get something, and you don't always know what it is, but you can feel it. You
Yeah,
know.
like I felt that right away. I was like, wow. But
Yeah.
with
In other words, I understand the language, but it wasn't what you spoke. Although that was part of it, I understood that very clearly. So what is that? I don't know. Telepathy, intuition. I don't know.
it's all of it. But I wanted to look up something about your chart because I want to look at when Pluto went into your fourth house because it was a long time ago. Okay, so you can tell me if you noticed anything. February 2006.
It was that long.
That's when it
Yeah,
entered.
I would
It didn't
say. Yeah, I would say absolutely, man. 2006 uh, till 2011. I mean, the middle of 2011, I went homeless for 2 years. But that whole, in fact, I was shown like this is going to go all the way till 2014, and then you'll hit like an apex um,
yeah.
of let's just say awareness, and
Hmm.
then almost like you're going up a hill, and then you're going down, and so yeah, so it's still 3 more years. That's a long run, 2006 to 2024.
Well, I
That's
didn't
a
even say that, but you did.
yeah.
I never said 2024,
Well,
but that might be true.
or
Where did
2020
you get
20.
that from?
I don't know. Well, to me, this is what it feels like. God, we're going to run out of time. We're going to have to do this again, quick,
Wait,
like
what
soon.
time? Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Well, I
Okay.
got three. I got 4 shows today.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
but
Okay.
yeah, we can do this. Sometimes we do this. I had somebody on 2 weeks ago, and they were on like 4 days later. Yeah, because we can continue this, and we'll just label it one. Episode one, episode two. But okay, so what I was saying is, I don't know, but like to me, and maybe you can help us here astrologically.
Yeah.
Uh, but and I'm not just saying this from what I've received because I would give a lot more credence to what I've been presented with by brothers and sisters and whatever.
Hmm.
So it's like we're being cleaned out. Like this is the thing right now. Like between now and I guess it's the what is it Mars retrograde. Like through the end of February.
Hmm.
Like it's massive. This massive Pluto type or Cali type where we're just getting cleansed. The eye of the needle thing, right?
Right. Yes.
And come March, we're coming out of it. And to me, it feels like we're on the other side, like I was describing myself. We're not that we're going down, but that the resistance or the effort, or it's a different game. It's like our energy is being utilized to its highest efficacy and potential, and we're creating like it's boom time. And so I feel like 23 and 24 are going to be very fast, even maybe faster and faster paced, like all these years since 2012. But it's going to be very constructive, reconstructive, and
Hmm.
just mind blowing and fantastical. And then by the time we hit 2025, I feel like, and I'm not saying I know anything, I'm just saying this is what I'm feeling.
Well,
Um,
it makes sense. And I
yeah.
want to bring in just one aspect before we close, because when I just looked it up, so Pluto is going to leave your fourth house December 2023. Okay. So,
Jesus, that sounds like so amazing. Yeah, December is my power month, and this year, and I guess every 4 years, I think I don't remember, but I was born on a Friday, and then when I was 12 years old, I got a download. I literally got a download. Like every time you have your birthday on a Friday, it's a power.
Hmm.
It's a surge. So that's this year too. So I'm that resonates. I just feel like for all of us, you know, we've done it energetically, and now,
It's
yeah,
it
we're
it's a trippy. There's so much more. I mean, yeah, yeah.
well. We can continue it. We'll just pick up where we left off, and
Okay,
I'll send you a note today, or yeah, and we'll
okay,
just set it up. I've got a lot of shows lined up, but I kind of leave the weekend open, and I have two on Sunday, one on Saturday, but we'll figure it out.
okay. Well, thank you, Todd.
Thank you. Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you. And you're Pacific time, so it'll be easy. Even though I think I'm about to go back to Mountain time. God, what a crazy
Oh,
world. We got like
wait,
60.
where are you now?
I'm in Sedona.
Oh, in Sedona.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm in Sedona. This is weird too because I'm in Sedona, and I got called here in July, and then a bunch of stuff was coming in. It was very massive, as you probably know as an astrologer, and then I did what I had to do, Soulogy Fest and whatever, and I came back here knowing I needed to be here, and after I got here, I was like, okay, you know. But my point is, and it feels to me like it's collective too. There's a lot
Hmm.
of movement. There's a lot of movement, like swirling. It almost feels like being pulled in and it's popped out,
Yep.
like I don't know, death, birth. I don't know, but there's some really wild, divergent and convergent energies out there right now, and I
Yep.
think I've had, including this morning, three three biggest, whatever you want to call it, timeline shifts, time
Hmm.
anomalies, weird experiences. I mean, I go into eat breakfast today, and I felt like a stranger in a strange land. Like it
Hmm.
was so weird. I could hear everybody in the restaurant. It
Mm.
was freaky. And then I walk outside, and it's sleeting, which we haven't
Really?
had. Yeah, we haven't had anything but blue skies for the last 2 or 3 weeks, or since I've been back mostly. I came right back at the end of the monsoon season. But yeah, I think to delve into. I'm getting a big thing right now, but to delve into the different components of our understanding, especially the ones that are tied to, might say the ancients, right?
Hmm.
I think it's worthy. We've delved into people that do QHHTs, and the information they get. We've got the people that pull down, I guess you would say like prediction oriented things. I don't think anybody knows. I don't think anything's foolproof, but I think that it's
Hmm.
worthy to dive into something that's always been there that's not really been arguably altered,
Yes.
because it's the basics or the basics or the basics. And I don't know. It just makes sense. And maybe there's other modalities out there and processes. But yeah, so anyone out there that feels like there's something that falls into that category, send me a message, soulogynetwork@gmail.com. But also in regard to you, yeah, I think it would be fair, because we always just make it up as we go here,
Yeah.
and we certainly want to get to know you and some of the things that you've experienced and how you
Hmm.
experience the present. Uh, what has your journey been as an incarnated woman?
Hmm.
Uh, what are you seeing in regard to that? What's your um, let's say energetic connectivity or lack thereof or degree of with the masculine inside yourself and in your life and so on? I think these are some of the topics as well. So yeah, we need at least another hour, maybe hour and a half.
Yeah, that would be great. And just like, because I like some kind of structure, I seem to work better with it. So even with those questions, that's like a structure to me.
Okay,
It
that's
helps
as
me
good.
focus.
Well, that's cool. That's as good as you'll get here. If you want structure, don't come
It's
here.
because I kind of like having you know,
Yeah, I think that explanation you made at the beginning too was interesting too. About, I don't know who it was in regard to or what it was in regard to, but the one thing, I think it was Saturn. which the master or
Oh yeah,
the
right, right.
structure. And and I love what you said too about you get the information, the intuition, but it doesn't make any sense. Go do it. Because I said that on the
Right.
show all the time. Like if it doesn't make sense, you do it. That's what seems to be working. But the whole thing about Saturn and the I think you used the word comfort. So
Yeah.
we're actually uncomfortable now in our comfort zone.
Yes.
So now we're going to move. The known has been comfortable, and it's no longer comfortable. So now the unknown, which was uncomfortable to think about,
Uh-huh.
is becoming the choice. So we better get comfortable with it.
But we're not, we don't know that yet. And it's like you said, how you were in the diner.
Mhm.
It's like you can, like, I was in New York a couple weeks ago and I came back and I feel like I brought New York with me energetically. And I'm in my environment now here and I'm almost not relating to people I know. And all of a sudden everything feels different. Like, it's
Yeah,
like, so
yeah,
I'm like doing everything by myself and I'm thinking, this is different.
yeah.
Is that not resonating
Yeah,
all of a sudden?
yes, and it's not like in judgment, and that's weird.
Right.
Like too. So it's and it feels like that collectively it's a natural process. This is some of the things that I wanted to get into with the astrology too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's do it Saturday or Sunday if you're okay with that.
Okay, so just send me a thing and I'll look at my calendar and see what we could do.
Okay, and if not, we'll just do it as
No, I'd
next.
like to.
Yeah.
That would
Okay.
be fun.
Well, we're in near or the same time. I think we'll be in the same time zone actually.
Yeah, Pacific?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right now, I think
Yeah.
Monday I'll go back to Mountain, but still that's close enough. All
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
perfect. We'll be back in 54 minutes, and I've got to get ready. And we'll
Okay.
see Wendy again this weekend. All right.
All right. Take care, Todd.
All right. Peace out. I'll change the titles today. Okay.
Okay.